How to shoot a cinematic jazz scene. Hello everybody, my name is Marco Bagnoli, I'm a cinematographer, and today we look at this movie scene where we have this very moody cinematic jazz sequence, and I'm going to show you a few techniques how you can replicate this look in your next video. So this is the first shot we're looking at, and the first thing you notice, we have a very cool orange teal look. We have a lot of warm colors in the frame, a lot of cool colors, and we will break the shot now down and we'll show you how we can achieve similar results. First things first, how do I set up a location like this? First thing, obviously, you create most of the time the most depth. So even though in the movie she should feel like she's sitting in the middle of the row, I would put her way up in the front just that we can extend the room, make everything a little bit bigger, a little bit more depth, because sometimes these locations are very small and now people will say, oh, what about continuity? People will notice. No one will notice. Believe me, I do it all the time. Never once in my life that said someone that wasn't on set that there are some confusing moments in the video that she's not in a place where she's supposed to be, because people don't care. The context and storyline are good enough. When they notice things like this, your video is already in a very bad direction. So keep that in mind. We want to create nice images, so concentrate on this, and that helps us to create the best story possible. So after we put everything really up front, we need to check, okay, what is the ambience light? The ambience of the room, the overall tone is our goal. So I set the camera, turn every light out that's in there, and then I start to place my practical lights, like these lamps here that are on every table, then these stage lights here in the background, and this one. So I fill the room. This is the framing I want at the end of the day. I position the camera, and now I build the practicals all over it so that we enhance and make the image just feel a little bit more alive. And now I use my base ISO, and now I dial in my aperture, most of the time wide open because everyone likes wide open, and then I choose my ND, and this is the moment where I choose, okay, this is the ambience I want. You don't set your exposure on the person, you set your exposure on the ambient you want, because it's much easier to create, to light only her at the end of the day than the whole room again. So, but before you are exposed for the background, you have to consider, do I haze or do I haze not? Because haze lifts the exposure and lifts the shadows a lot. So here in this room, we just have a little bit of atmospheres here. Not much, just a bit haze in the background. And that's always a way I would go also, because I don't like haze in the foreground. Haze in the foreground often demolishes the punch and the contrast on the person. And for a lot of projects, that's the look you want. But I'm not that type of guy. I like my people punchy, crunchy most of the time. It's just a look I prefer to do. Don't put haze here, put haze here, because it fills the room with atmosphere. Then, next thing, after you set your exposure, camera, practicals, your ambience, your haze, then you put your actor in the position. And at first glance, you would probably be completely dark, completely black. So, but we have actually here, right, then you go to the razor here, this practical, and this is the motivation for this fill light. I don't think this light is actually giving her this much exposure. Here, somewhere in the corner, will be an Astera, a small carpet light on the same color temperature, and just blasting from this direction to fill on the shadows in her face. So that's the first real light we set. It's not the key light, but it's the ambience that got enhanced. So now we can concentrate on the key light, which is here pretty cold, pretty blue. The reason for it is the reverse shot where we see the man on the stage, where he gets very cold spotlights, and this is practically the ambience reflection of these spotlights in their face. That's the reason why she has this cold light on her. There's several ways how you can do it. As you can see, the light is pretty hard, so I don't want to go with a very soft light. So practically with a light dome that is around 90 centimeters and a bit of grit, I would place it here and just shine it in a very cool temperature onto her face. Because as you noticed, and this is what makes this shot so special and pop, everyone here is completely dark. They just have a tag on lights, and then you can see here she gets a little bit light from here. He gets also this type of light in his face. So we just want to know that there are people, but it's actually not that important that we completely see them, because we want to lead the viewing direction onto her. And with removing the lights from these people, we focus, or what's happening, we focus our view of our audience completely on her. And I think that looks perfect. Don't always have to give everyone a light. You can actually see here, they have a little bit of an edge light. So this is the thing you can do. What I do in most cases when I have the space, big butterflies on the side, and I bounce a little bit light into it so that everyone gets, when the motivation is there, a little fill light from the side, but I still keep it very side lit or backlit, like here, that we have some ambience lights here or hard lights that shine through all the heads of the people to create another separation, so that we don't light up their faces, but they get a little bit of texture and rim lights so that we can actually feel them. Here we have a close-up of her standing up, and as you can see, nothing changes that much. They probably move the warm light a little bit more that she slit by this eye socket here, because we don't want in a situation where we have this very emotional facial expressions that our eye sockets are completely black. We often get this with top light or moody lights that you can't see the eyes properly. So that's the reason why they kept this light from underground, because most people would say, that's very unpleasing because it lights from down into her face, which is not pretty most of the time. But I think they handled it here very good, because we have this color contrast, and this mix of this both lights really work nice together. Also nice to notice, as you can see, we don't only have color separation in the face, also the background that works that way, because in this side of the face, which is completely cold, the background is actually very warm, and the side in her face that is warm, the background is very cool. And the reason why we do this is we want always maximal separation, and we can create separation with light, shadows and colors, for example. And they did it here both ways, that we have Keith, our main actor, with the colors where the background have different colors, and this creates separation without adding any additional lights, because our things, our brain knows blue is the complete opposite from orange, so that's the reason why they feel very separated and very contrasting in front of each other. Then we have the stage light situation, and here's another thing for light continuity, because as you can see, when I don't know if she's her, but we just think that it's her, she's now completely dark. But wait a minute, beforehand she had this very warm light here, very cold light here, but the reason we don't light her, because we want to create separation. So we have silhouettes here, because our main view should be this guy here on the stage. So that's to the point back to light continuity. You always move and abstract everything that it fits your story and your viewing. So don't overcomplicate everything. When you know, okay, when I set up shot like this, I want people in the foreground and it would look better with no light on them, make no light on them, because the focus is somewhere else. Also here, to create a look like this, you clearly need haze. There need to be a little bit of ambience of haze in the room. And then you can use something like an ADC, just in small light, this reflector mounts, and just blast it onto the person. Perfect. Then that's not enough, because we want no really deaf edges here. You can see we have still this red carpet on the wall, curtains, and this window. And windows at night looks very ugly. So sometimes we throw them some texture there with some dirt or water, and then use something here like a street light with just above and illuminate the glass. Because glass by itself doesn't reflect anything, or it doesn't take the light very good. So that's the reason we add a little bit of texture here. And what they also make really cool is just a few different textures and shapes on the background, so it doesn't look too flat and too boring. Also, when we're going here in for the close-up, the lights are actually moving, so we see sometimes his hair and his body gets really nice glow and really nice separation. Really love that. But overall here, they go with a very warm skin light on him, even though beforehand there was this very cold light. But why we do this? Because we want the scene to feel really warm and close now, because we get closer and it's more emotional, because now we have this contact between these two people. So we set the color a lot warmer for him so that he looks more inviting. Still have a very half-lit look, because we still want the spotlight feeling. So, and as you can see while I'm talking, these are all just things you have to think about, is just what is the emotion right now? What is the light motivation, as I said before? And then you can twist everything by a little bit so that it fits your story a bit better. When you're not going full something different, no one will notice. We are still in the same light language, in the same cinematography language, so people will think everything works just fine together. Thank you very much for watching. Check out the description for some promo codes. My name is Mark Banyuli and see you next time.